I brought this cup. This is a special cup. Todd loves this cup.
I do love that cup. We were buying a couch or buying something for
The
our,
house we bought here.
yeah, and that was there, and I snuck that in on the purchase and
I was out
surprised her
trying
with
to
it.
find a candle. I snuck
Surprised her
in a
with
candle,
that
and
pot as a cup.
it's
Uh, so building this garden center, what is it? What kind of person or gardener are you looking for to be your customer?
oh, I that's a great question. I want all sorts of gardeners here. I want veteran gardeners. I want the OGs. I want the people that have been doing it for a long time. I want them to feel like they've got the right stuff. They've got what I need. They got high quality plants. They got high quality tools for me. But I really want those people that are brand new to gardening or they have a lot of questions about gardening. I want to run the gamut, and I'll tell you why. I want those, I call them the OGs, and I hope people, with all due respect to people that have been gardening for a long time, but I want those veteran gardeners because for me, as I try new things in gardening, it is nice to have people who have done it for a while around to give you a little bit of advice. I love when I go into a garden center and I pick up a flower and a person is kind of like, oh, that looks good in the shade. Because sometimes plants, they'll come from a farm or a grower in certain parts of the country. That plant will grow in full sun, but it gets to Texas and baby, it needs a little shade. And the only way you can learn that is from somebody that has done a little bit of this before. So,
So how does that play on your sense of like building community?
oh, that's good. I think that's a big part of it. Winston, you got to sit. I, he's the interviewer.
Winston plays
um, how does it play on community? I think
building community.
building community because I think in gardening, you grow better gardens when you know gardeners, when you get to know other gardeners, when you got somebody to help you. But also, as cheesy as it is, so I've worked in nonprofit and I've worked in social services and trying to solve. I've been blessed to work at some of the best organizations in the country. I worked for the Salvation Army. I worked for the Y. I worked for a startup organization called Cafe Momentum that, God, 20 years from now, I am positive it will be a big deal. But just in that, a big part of solving problems is getting to know other people. You can't do it by yourself. That's biblical. It wasn't meant for man to be alone. So, part of building community is having an environment where people that know a whole lot feel really comfortable. They want to sit on the porch. They want to talk. They want to hang out a little bit. Old people. That's the wrong word because we're becoming old people. But but like Big Mama and them used to say, sit a while. And
Yeah.
so I want it to be a place where people will sit a while and then you have folks helping one another. A part of my vision is also like having a classroom sort of space where people that people that have done it for a little while longer are poised to teach people that are newer at it. I'm excited to teach classes myself, but I dream of a place where
So I was
people
going to ask, how does that play into the dream of how you're going to build this place?
yeah, I dream of a place where the Uncle Ratings, the flu babies, the grandmothers, they also pour into teaching. We were laughing with my grandmother last night. I have done the master gardener training. I've done the master gardener training in Dallas, and I met a group of ladies that make vinegar. And I had never heard of like, wait a minute, you make vinegar? Say what now? And the lady gave me some and was like, hey, try this and add this much oil for your salad. And I did it and it was so stinking good. And for those ladies, they mastered that and they're really good at it. And why would I teach the vinegar class when those ladies are the experts at it? So I want to find those pockets in the community, those groups of women and men that, like, oh, I've gotten really good at composting. Let me teach people how to do this. um that's the community building part of me. And so sure, it's our business, it's Todd and I's business, but I want people to feel like, hey, Melissa, Todd, I got this great idea about how to do a thing. How can we partner up? How can we collaborate and do this? And I want to be able to say, well, we got some space.
Partnerships are important.
But and I don't sometimes those will absolutely be partnerships with businesses and organizations, and that sort of thing. But part of it for me is it's partnership with the community, right? That group of ladies
That's good.
that
Yeah.
they're making vinegar.
Yeah.
What an honor for them to be able to show people how to do it. When I talk to those ladies, and part of it might be my own cheesiness, that I was like mesmerized that they made vinegar for whatever reason. I guess I never thought about where vinegar came from. I just thought you buy some, it's in the salad dressing, move on. But
So how
those,
does that translate into your business here of having that community?
I think it translates into my business. And so part of this is faithfulness. I don't want to be offering no $3,000 classes to learn how to make vinegar. Um, but I want to provide a space where people can do those sorts of things. And my faithfulness is that if we provide the space, people will support our business in being financially sustainable and successful.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
Um, I think we will sell flowers, we will sell bags of dirt, we will sell vegetables and shrubs and peach trees and all those sorts of things. But the service part of me, the community building part of me, I am faithful that, and I trust God in that we will get to sell some things, but we also have an obligation to give something to East Texas. And so for me, part of the giving is creating a place where people can have those experiences. We went into that new, it's kind of that antique shop in the old Marshall Floral building.
Yeah.
And it was a couple of ladies, might have been three ladies in there working at the time, real nice ladies. And I love old nasty antique. I love it, especially if it's a piece of Marshall pottery or something like that. But my husband and I, we're walking around and we're looking at all the things. And one of the things I loved about that place was that, like, they were spending time talking to one another, but they also like talked to us and
Sure
took the
did.
time to
Yeah.
get to know us. And they didn't have to do that. They could have they could have been rung us up and carried on with their day. But East Texas culture is like, you want to have a good business, you if I buy something from you, the least you can do is talk to me for real.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I want to
And
talk
that's
to
a small
people.
town culture too.
Yeah, I want to talk to people for real, but then I also want, when people have good ideas and they're good at a thing, I want to help them shine in that.
That small town culture of you, I'm going to go drop something off at somebody's house, but turns into an hour conversation because you
Yeah,
just can't drop something off. You have to stop,
yeah,
sit down, have a conversation, and enjoy each other's company for a little bit, and then you can leave. It would be considered uh,
rude.
rude just to come by and here, bye,
Yeah,
gone.
you're supposed to sit down.
So how is this going to build into what is the legacy that you're trying to build here?
um, the legacy that I'm trying to build here is, so I guess I got to start with like me. I'm a girl from East Texas. I went to Marshall High School. I was Miss Marshall High School. I graduated at the top of my class, and because Marshall gave me that, teachers, businesses gave me scholarships. I was able to participate in band and go on all these crazy trips and do all the things that kids get to do because they're from a town that wraps its hands around people. That gave me opportunity. And so the legacy that I'm trying to build is helping people feel like they can have opportunity also. Um, it's a small thing, but like I worked at the time it was Marshall Hardware, and there was a gift shop in there, and we sold like silver and candles, a lot of wedding registry stuff.
It's like an old Ben Franklin's
I don't know what that is.
five and dime.
Maybe, but it was like it was wedding registry stuff.
Yeah.
And the lady that worked there at the time, man, she taught me how to wrap gifts so well. But more than anything, being a young girl at the time and being able to get a job with people that my family could trust, that I could still go to school, but I could make a little bit of money on the side, and then I could go live out my dreams. That's the legacy that I want to build. I look forward to the day that we got a kid that works for us in the summer, and then they graduate high school, and then they go to college, and then they get their first job, and it might be some job related to horticulture, but it might not. um, that's the legacy that I want to build. I think that it's important, and I think that small towns do that better than anywhere in America to me.
So where do you see this taking you in the next 5 years?
God, in 5 years, I hope for look, I hope for us to know more than we know now. But in 5 years, I want to be like a premier garden center where people come and they know that we're going to be able to give them the best advice on which plants to plant in which spaces at what time of year. I want us to we wrote up values for our business. And the three values for our business are make it make sense, right? So no fluff. We're going to give you what you need. I'm not going to sell you a whole bunch of stuff that's going to die just for the sake of me making money. And I'm going to help you be successful. Another one of our values is dig in. And I want to dig into my community. I want to be a resource for people in my community. I want to help people have pretty front porches and pretty gardens and all that kind of stuff. But the last one, which really speaks to like who I am as a woman, is to be remarkable on purpose. I think there is something to be said about taking pride in what you do, and it's not ego, right? But it's like pride, and I think that's an East Texas swag thing for me. A lot of businesses you go into in our communities here in East Texas, people have pride in what they're offering. That's why they take the time to talk to you. That's why they take the time to get to know you, because they've worked their behinds off to have something to offer. So 5 years from now, I want us to be well on our way to be seen that way. Um, I hope that answers it.
I think it does. Um, I think a legacy is a long
It's
way
long
off.
game.
It's a long game. I think 5 years is a pretty short. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
back to that dream. How do you get there?
Mm-hmm.
You have to take those short. You got to break it up into shorter. We're 18 months from opening,
Yeah.
so it's.
But like legacy, 5 years, in 5 years, like I dream of us like we got a pond here. I used to work for the Salvation Army, and we would take kids to Camp Hoblitzell. And some of the most special moments in my life are you would meet kids, and it was the first time they had ridden a horse, or the first time they had gotten in a canoe, or the first time they had put a worm on a hook and threw a cane pole in a pond and caught a fish. I see us like having like daddy son or daddy uncle or whatever it got to be for kids to go and throw a fishing line.
We have some really big fish in this pond. um, it's one of the another amazing thing that
Yeah,
is came with this property. The pond is about an acre size, and it needs some cleaning.
we'll get there.
But having someone who catches their first fish in this pond to me would be amazing.
Like I think about like you talk a lot about gardening with your granddad and things your granddad grew. And another thing Todd always talks about, like his family loved to fish, but Todd and his brothers didn't learn to fish by themselves. Somebody showed them how to do it, and then it became a thing.
We would all grab up the poles and go to the city lake.
Yeah,
They'd get them all together. As soon as we got to the granddaddy's house, we'd
yeah.
always sit there and ask about when can we go fishing, when can we go fishing, and they would gather up the poles.
Hmm.
He kept them in our corner, and then it'd throw them in the car, and we'd all go out to the city lake, and then we'd all go. I mean, the whole family would move from
Yeah,
the front porch at the house
to the city
to the
lake.
city lake, and then we'd get out there and start fishing.
So I guess the legacy I want to build is I'm a person who I like technology. I'm recording this on my iPhone. I like being connected digitally. And I think that gives a lot of value and power to us all across this country and in East Texas. But the legacy I want to build is reminding people, families, moms and dads and their kids and grandparents to take a moment, slow down, listen to the cicadas, listen to the birds tweeting, throw a fish in the water and catch something. Take the time, bend down, plant a flower, plant a tree, and wait a couple of years before you can pull a peach off of it. I think that there is some value to that. And so I think that a garden center, Todd always talks about some resources are the tool to get to something else. I think the garden center is a resource for us, helping people take a minute, take a breath, and slow down a little bit. Um,
I think that's all I got on this segment. If we're going to walk around and show the property,
okay. You ain't got no more questions?
no more questions.
Well, let's walk around a little bit. I got a couple more questions, but we got plenty of time. Todd said it's gonna be 18 months. That's our goal, 18 months. And there will be
I was just giving you a spot where you could cut the recording.
I'm gonna cut the record. He's like, hurry up. Winston's little face is so cute.